To David Greenshield's point right here, he's looking at two things. So he's going defensive line, both in the recruiting cycle of 21, but also for Saturday night. So he's wondering if Zach Harrison's going to get more snaps. He's made plays when he gets the chance.
I mean, he was second team All Big Ten selection, but they rotate so many guys, and there's only so many snaps to go around. I think everybody wants to see him get more, and when he's in, he does do some things, but it's just not how it goes. Unless you're Chase Young, you rotate, and so I think that's just something everybody has to make friends with and make peace with it. And next year, when they have Jack Sawyer in there, he's going to rotate in there and get some snaps. I would agree that everybody wants to see Zach Harrison get snaps, because when he's out there, you know the potential that he has, and he has this label as being the next guy in line. But, it's Larry Johnson knows better than we do. I think we should go ahead and put that out there. And he's always talking about he doesn't want to put players in situations that they can't handle. And I don't think it's that, but it has been odd at times how Zach Harrison will sit for odd periods of time. And sometimes he'll start, and other times you won't see him until the second quarter, or he only gets one drive. And yet nobody ever says there's anything wrong. That's just part of the game plan. And so we'll see what this game plan has. Maybe he's better against mobile quarterbacks, or maybe he's better against pocket passers, and other guys are better against, vice versa. And, it's been interesting to watch what little we've gotten to see of him. And I think we all want to see more, but I don't know that he's going to play anymore just because of the rotation. I think it would take injuries, and, I think they might be relatively healthy right now at defensive end.
Yakov 22 says that no one from Northwestern would make the Ohio State too deep. I'm thinking Peyton Ramsey's the backup quarterback, and I'm thinking their linebackers, Gallagher and Bergen and Fisher are vying for starting spots, and their corners are good. Their secondary is good. So I'll go to those 3 units.
Ohio State doesn't really have a too deep secondary, so anybody from Northwestern is going to get into that too deep.
Yep, they've got some guys that can play. I mean, one of the DBs has 5 interceptions, I believe. So they're, as we said, one of the top teams in passing efficiency defense. Again, we've seen teams come into this game with great defensive rankings, and Ohio State just tramples them. So that 59-0 game kind of sticks out. I think Wisconsin had the #1 defense or #1 rush defense or something, and Ohio State just obliterated them. Michigan's come into the game with a lot of good defensive rankings in recent years. A full 11-game body of work, and Ohio State just wadded it up and threw it away in one 3-hour football game. So they thought they were something, and it turns out they weren't. So, that could be the case again on Saturday. I think as my belief is Ohio State's going to try and establish the run first and get Fields going, kind of ease him into it. But then it's going to be, all systems go at some point. And they're going to hit a couple big plays, I think, in the course of this game, one way or the other. And I just think that Ohio State's just got too many weapons for just about anybody. I think even if they get into these playoffs, they're going to find themselves in shootouts, and it's going to come down to whether or not Ohio State's defense can get that critical stop at the right juncture, kind of like that Cleveland-Baltimore game the other night, where Cleveland just simply, under penalty of death, could not get the critical stop it needed about 6 different times. So I don't know, just that's kind of how I view that. That's not going to be the case this week, though. I don't think Northwestern has the ability on offense to exploit everything that might be wrong with the Ohio State defense. Certainly, they're not going to line up and run the ball against Ohio State with any great effectiveness. And Ramsey had better players around him, I think, at Indiana in terms of receivers, at least, when he was throwing for those big numbers a couple of years ago at Indiana. So, I think they'll get a couple touchdowns, but I have a hard time viewing Northwestern getting much more than that.
I mean, we talk about their past defensive numbers, which are very good, but we need to look at who they played. And the Big Ten has been pretty poor. And when you sit there and you look at the passing offense of the 7 teams that Northwestern's played, 4 of them are in the bottom 30 nationally. The bottom 30, with Illinois going in averaging 157.6 yards per game in the air. Now, when you're playing anywhere from 5 to 8 games or whatever, you definitely have a smaller sample size than you have in terms of other conferences. But it just shows that they've not really played any quarterbacks that have had a pulse. They've only faced one top 20 passing offense, and that's Purdue, who's 17th. And as I look there, Purdue was 28 of 51 for 263, 2 touchdowns, and wasn't picked off. Now, Purdue certainly has some other issues. They can't run the ball. The Boilers can't run the ball. They rushed for 2 yards in that game, 2. So that's part of the reason why Purdue fell 27-20 in a game that Purdue had lots of opportunities in that game to at least tie it and send it to more mind-numbingly awful football. But, yeah, I look at Northwestern and I'm like, they've done some nice things in terms of their pass defense, but they've gone against a couple of tomato cans.
Yeah, and they'll allow people to throw the ball and complete passes. They just don't expect you to be able to do it down the field. But Justin Fields can, so...
Yeah, there's no question it's a mismatch. I was just looking for an angle to get Northwestern to win because stranger things have happened, to use the old cliche. And that Purdue team, not great at quarterback with either Plummer or O'Connell at the time, but their wide receiver core is really good. And they were at full strength there, at least in the wide receiver core. But that's what you load up when you play Purdue, because Sander Horvath should not be a lead running back. And yeah, they can't run the ball. Now, Kevin, despite the disparaging remarks concerning the Northwestern offense, what is the way in which the Wildcats can win this game? Because they are going to play, and it's only a 20-point spread. When I say only, I mean that there are underdogs that win by greater point spreads against them. There is a formula there for Northwestern to win this game. Ohio State hasn't been that invincible.
No, I think that it's going to be a situation of where, I can make the smart aleck comment and say, well, if they can sit there and get and resurrect a Michael Penix situation and whatever, but I don't think that Peyton Ramsey is going to have the weapons around him to recapture. And I have it right here. In 2018, he was 26 of 49 for 322 and 3 touchdowns against Ohio State. That was the 2018 defense, the one that everybody has issue with. Exactly. So he's tasted success against Ohio State before. He just doesn't have the weapons around him, in my opinion, to be able to do that. So Ohio State's going to have to help him out. Ohio State's going to have to play fast and loose with the ball, turn it over a lot. I think it's going to be a case of where Northwestern is going to have to figure out how to run the ball, keep Ohio State's offense off the field, and just kind of take the air out of the ball a little bit. I mean, Ohio State, what is their time of possession? So they talked about on the Ryan Day radio show, it's like 36 minutes a game or whatever. That's crazy for the type of offense that, you sit there and from a top line, from a macro level, look at Ohio State running. So that one was for you, Gerd. Ohio State's going to have to be something like -3, -4, and Northwestern can intercept the ball. Going into this year, I said, well, Justin Fields doesn't throw picks. Well, Justin Fields threw 3 of them against Indiana. I think they have the secondary to make some sort of pressure for that, but I don't see them being a great blitzing team, and I think that's the other component there. And with this being Mike Hankwitz's swan song, I don't think he's going to wait to sit there and have this final game to try and reinvent the wheel and suddenly turn Northwestern into this blitz-happy team. So I think it's really going to take a case of Ohio State turning the ball over, handing it to them, giving them short fields, and just playing about a D- type of game.
At noon Eastern time on Saturday, we've got the Big Ten Championship starting out our day with the Big 12 playing at the same time. So let's go to our predictions.
I'll start.
Okay.
I wrote my prediction before any talk came out about a second COVID run or whatever. And I'm all about consistency, so I'll run with the prediction I wrote. Though I'm going to back off of the score a little bit. As I said, Ohio State gets into the playoff with a win of one. I still think this is a team that knows that they need to put up some style points. They need to erase all doubt. If games fall the right way, I mean, you don't know. There's no way they're going to move up to one. But, you want to go in on a high. I don't think Northwestern's going to be able to do much on offense whatsoever. And I think that you're going to see an Ohio State team that's going to be dialed in for at least 3 of the 4 quarters, more so than the 2 that we've seen most of the way through the year. I liked past tense, liked Ohio State to win this one big, 52-10.
Ooh, wow. I'll jump in then. I do think there's going to be a feeling out period in the first quarter. Could be like 7-7, 7-3, something like that. But I think what we see in these big type games, Ohio State's great at the end of the first half, managing the clock, punching one end, and then they'll punch it in too soon with 2 minutes to go, force a punt, and then punch another one in or get a field goal at the buzzer or something. A lot of times they lead the world in getting 7 to 10 points in the last 3 minutes of a half, and then also getting the football to start the second half because they usually win the toss and defer. Well, they don't usually win the toss. Hell, who knows? Probably 50-50. At any rate, they get the ball to start the second half, and that's the one where they put the game away. They drive 75 yards, 8 plays, and that's that typically. And I think it's going to be that kind of game where they just gradually pull away. The cream rises to the top. You can't keep a good man down. And Justin Fields, this is his backyard. This is his playground. Perfect, optimum playing conditions, fast track. They're going to make big plays, either running the ball or throwing it. I know it may not look pretty for the first quarter and a half or 2 quarters or whatever, but I have 41-17. I think Ohio State pulls away. We saw 45-24 in this game 2 years ago, and I think it was 24-7 at halftime, something like that. They hit the McLaurin bomb, I think, right before halftime, and that was the one where you took the pin and you just popped Northwestern's bubble because it was all over but the shouting at that point. And so, unfortunate there won't be the usual crowd of 47,000 Ohio State fans there to watch the Buckeyes' 4th coronation in a row as a Big Ten champion. Nobody's ever won 4 outright Big Ten championships in a row, back in the standings era. Now we're in the championship game era where there's only one champion anyway at the end of every season. So Ohio State making history as they go along. And as we said, with these recruiting gains that they've made, they're going to continue to make a lot more history in the years to come.
What's sad about this is the Colts, their last 2 home games have had about 12,500 fans in attendance.
Yeah, why can't they do that?
And the Big Ten is like, no, let's just do families. Let's make it a quaint, nice, just families. Like this thing is taking place up in a cabin in the woods or something, up in the mountains for, just a nice ski trip with the family. So yes, just family in attendance there. I like the Buckeyes. I never think about the score until you start asking, Mark. Like, it's like, this is the first time you've ever asked us a score, and it's the first time I've ever had to think about it. But I'll go 38-10. I don't think Northwestern's offense will do much against Ohio State's defense. And Northwestern will make Ohio State work for it a little bit. And so, it won't be supremely easy, but the Ohio State will still be able to complete passes. The running game has gotten going. Trey Sermon and Master Teague are both doing well. Justin Fields running the ball as well certainly helps that. So I think it'll be kind of out of hand. I don't know how early. I like the 28-point win. Ohio State should be able to do enough, whatever they want, and staying ahead of schedule, because Northwestern doesn't necessarily get you off schedule per se. They just want to try to make you fail on 3rd down. And Ohio State, they have so many 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 4 where they can do whatever. That's hard to stop. So I'll go 38-10, and it'll be good to see Ohio State kick a field goal for first time in a while.
I'd like to invite everybody over to sided.co. Sided.co. It's a debate site. Basically, you post a debate topic of the day. Our debate of the day is, which game do you want to see most? If you can only watch one game on Saturday, which one will it be? So join us on sided.co and you can win a $25 gift card. So go to sided.co and vote right there, and you can win a $25 gift card. All right, Ohio State Northwestern coming off National Signing Day for a Big Ten championship